Hi, this is Nick Dragot, and you're listening to 11 O'Clock Comics.
There's that sound. No, the rockets sound around. You can tell it's Thursday.
Yes, finally, thankfully. You can tell Vince is back.
Yeah, I didn't fall asleep this time.
That is good.
I wanted to, but I didn't.
You don't want to hear Jason again?
At least to be honest.
Yeah,
Right? He's like, I don't want to wake up to another goddamn Slack message.
because I heard that the MRI, which I had today, is the most radiation out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So radiation tends to make you tired.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
And with the fatigue that I already have, it makes me damn tired. But I'm pushing through. I think that's my problem, that I surrender to the moment and I will fall asleep. Where if I just push through and push back, that I will find myself in a better spot. So here I is, and here we are, 11 o'clock comics, episode 10, 16.
That's just because that's the last time you were here. No, this is episode 1020.
Oh, 1020, son.
Oh, well, episode 1020. and and I'm Vince B.
Oh, you are Vince B. It's so damn glad to hear your voice. I am David A. Price.
This is Big Facts, and of course, I'm Lewis Loop Hughes, but you may call me the boy.
Roy is the
The
boy.
boy.
I do. But Roy Thomas is the boy.
You call me
That's
the boy.
true.
A lot too.
I do. But you are not the boy. You are just wooed together. Once again, thank you, cheapgraphicnovels.com. When I want to spend as least as possible, and I'll be honest with you, that's most of the time, because I'm cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I go to cheapgraphicnovels.com for my Oceans, my TPBs, my one-shots, my Omnibus edition, DC's Finest, Marvel Epic Collection, manga, everything. Art books with a spine. At Cheap Graphic Novels has it for far less than retail. In addition to that, they have their Nick and Dent sale. They're still running their Black Friday sale. And if that wasn't enough, cheapgraphicnovels.com also has specials.
Ooh, they have specials like Darwin Cook's The Complete Spirit Connoisseur Edition hardcover for $69.99. Leap into the crime-ridden, two-fisted tales of Darwin Cook's The Spirit, featuring Will Eisner's most famous creation, now collected in its entirety for the first time in this oversized collectible edition, presented within a beautiful slipcase. This edition is designed by Sean Phillips, who also oversaw the Eisner-winning Richard Starks Parker The Martini edition, Last Call, to which this book is a companion in size and scope. J-Bone, Cook's longtime collaborator, provides an introduction. Also, DC Finest Wonder Woman entered the Cheetah trade paperback for $23.99 when millionairess Priscilla Rich is outshone by Wonder Woman in a public demonstration of strength. It causes the socialite to develop a vengeful, split personality. Driven by spite and jealousy, Priscilla dons the guise of a treacherous and relentless predator, the Cheetah, and launches an all-out campaign to outwit and ultimately kill Wonder Woman and her allies. This DC Finest volume contains the first appearance of the original Golden Age Cheetah and more tales from the early 1940s, including the never-before reprinted Wonder Woman of History backup features written by Alice Marble Collects Sensation Comics numbers 19 through 34, Comic Cavalcade numbers 3 through 7, and Wonder Woman numbers 5 through 9. And finally, this one's interesting. Superman, the New Krypton Saga Omnibus Volume 1 hardcover for $75. A world of Kryptonians has risen, and Earth may not survive their arrival. As Superman's people return to claim a new home, tensions erupt between humanity and the last sons and daughters of Krypton. Can Superman protect both worlds, or will he be forced to choose? As General Zod rises and the Kryptonian city of Kandor is restored, Superman must navigate political intrigue, alien diplomacy, and the growing threats of war between worlds. Collecting in reading order for the first time ever, Action Comics numbers 866 through 879, Adventure Comics Special featuring The Guardian number 1, Supergirl numbers 35 through 42, Superman numbers 681 through 685, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen Special number 1, Superman World of New Krypton numbers 1 through 3, Superman World of New Krypton Special number 1, and stories from Action Comics Annual number 10 and Supergirl Annual number 1.
Question. You probably don't know the answer. You don't know the answer to this, but I'm being vague. What happened to Wonder Woman 1 to 4?
That might be in the previous volume from DC Finest. I believe this is the second Wonder Woman collection.
Makes complete sense then. Yeah. Cheapgraphicnovels.com. That's all you have to say.
It's true.
Thank you. One more time. Thank you.
I love we never give his logo enough, his motto enough credit. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. Yep.
That is genius, dude.
Yes,
Yeah, where do you think he got it?
I assume Parks and Rec, like everybody else.
No, I think he got it from you.
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean that'd be flattering, but I assume he got it from the same place I say treat yourself, which is Parks and Rec. But
No, I think
Max, if you're listening to this, which you usually are, hit us up on the Slack or the DMs. Did you make treat yourself from Parks and Rec or via our saying it? Either way, it's great.
That's it's particularly endearing when the sponsor listens to the show.
Oh, it is indeed.
It is, because you can't say the same thing about our previous sponsor. As good as they were, as all consuming as they tended to be, they would not listen every week. In fact, I think 50% of them wouldn't listen at all.
And they did sponsor a lot of shows, so for them to be able to listen to everybody, they wouldn't be able to fill our books. But
Max listens to every episode, which is
Max was part of episode 1000.
Right. And he'll send me a message and he'll say something like, "Oh, it was nice to hear your voice on the latest episode," and I'll be like, "Motherfucker."
Yep.
Like he's listening to the episodes. He doesn't have to do that because I know how busy Max is.
Yep.
You know, it's endearing. It really is. So thank you for that. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Thank you for everything. Really.
And you know what? And a special thanks for not owning any Bitcoin. I'm very, very grateful for that this week. All you Bitcoin geniuses out there. Hope you're having a wonderful week.
I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming that they're not doing well.
Bitcoin is getting destroyed.
Yeah.
Everybody was into Bitcoin, and then they got really into Bitcoin after Trump got elected because he and his family have their hands up the ass of crypto in huge ways, both overt and
it's not real. It's not real. Yeah.
Correct. But everyone was like, "Oh, see, Trump's gonna," because he's like everyone's like, "Oh man, it's like this is the now that he's president, like crypto forever," and now it's like getting absolutely walloped, and I'm like, this just makes me feel very good. It's pure Schadenfreude, just to be clear, but I'm very, very grateful. for it.
Well, there's a lot to be said about Schadenfreude.
Sometimes there is, because I've spent so many times at cocktail parties and meetings over the years where people would tell me how I'm an absolute idiot for not owning crypto and how brilliant they are and how they have life-changing money because of it. And it's like, all right, cool. Mm-hmm. Do you?
Yeah.
Do you, bro?
Back in July, episode 989, DC Finest Wonder Woman, The Legend of Wonder Woman, was mentioned, and that collects. Actually, no, that's actually from the later days. That's from the 80s, because that's actually the last issues of Wonder Woman Volume 1. It collects 306 through 329, so that's the end of it.
Let's saving it for something else.
They must be. Oh no, episode 1012 back in December, introducing Wonder Woman, included Wonder Woman numbers 1 through 4, All-Star Comics number 8, Sensation Comics 1 through 18, and Comic Cavalcade 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So she's had
They're
3
very
books
good
already. Good for her.
That's what I'm saying. The early Wonder Woman stories are as good as the newer ones.
For sure.
It's something you can't say about a lot of heroes.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. I'm drinking.
What are we drinking?
And,
Nice.
the usual. Charles Double Trouble.
Nice.
Cabernet Sauvignon. I think it's a Pinot Noir. Let me get the bottle. Syrah,
Ooh,
58%. And Cabernet Sauvignon, 42%. From Washington State.
nice.
Yep.
What you drinking, Jason?
Drinking some H2O, buddy. Some H2O.
I hear you. I'm trying to get rid of this chill. I'm having the Kentucky Sour Mash whiskey known as Shanks. So this is hitting the spot. And once this glass is done, once these couple of fingers are gone, I'll go back to my water.
They didn't have to know that.
They didn't, but it's fine.
No.
Full transparency.
Yeah.
We hide nothing. Especially the
We
books
don't.
we're reading. What are we reading? I want to hear from Vince.
Nice. Nice. I'm of two minds on this. Because all good stories, all great stories, have a beginning, a middle, and an ending. Right?
Sure.
Dark Knight Returns, Batman Year One, they all have those three things. Except this doesn't have one of them. And I'll tell you what it is when I get there. There are a lot of people involved in the making of this. So bear with me. Written by Scott Snyder and James Tiny Onion IV. With art by Jorge Jimenez, who I'm really starting to warm up to.
Oh, that's you trailblazer.
Yeah. Bruno Redondo,
Trendsetter over here.
Javier Fernandez, Howard Portal, Francis Manipul, Neil Sampierre, Juan Alvaran, colors by Hi-Fi, Alexandro Sanchez, Francis Manipul. This is merely one volume of this three volume set. So, Ross Miller does some art. DWJ. There's a lot of big names attached to this, and I'm going to try and take it slowly because it's one of those books where they shoehorned an event that didn't feel forced to me. More often than not, an event shoehorned into a narrative feels forced. Feels like you got to do this because he's a member of the Justice. I'm talking about Aquaman. He's a member of Justice League. Number one, number two. We got to keep the DC universe rolling. So we're doing this Aquaman thing, and you have to kowtow to Ed Drew. Normally, it would feel like an afterthought. Such is not the case here. It's really a 38, 39 issue story over the course of 3 volumes. I am talking about Scott Snyder and James Tynion, the fourth Justice League, which I initially poo-pooed. How good can it be? Scott Snyder, writer of death metal and American Vampire and all those stories, they're good. You know, they're all right. But how good can the Justice League be? Really good. In fact, it's one of the better Justice Leagues that I've read, and it is a long, sweeping story. It starts off with the Justice League versus the Justice League, the Legion of Doom, which consists of Lex Luthor, of course, Gorilla Grodd, Sinestro, Cheetah, a child, a young baby that is the keeper of the slow force. There's the speed force that the Flashes use, and then there's the slow force that the Turtle, Flash's first nemesis, used. And then you get it basically it includes everything. I'm not being facetious. I'm not. It includes everything for Crisis on Infinite Earth on up. And I'm like, how can that be possible? And still be real. How can that work? Lex goes from leader of the Legion of Doom. Doom's a big part of it. That the heroes have been fighting for justice their entire careers. Or if they just move out of the way and let Doom take over, Doom is more powerful than Justice, according to Luthor. So he does everything in his power to facilitate the coming of Doom. And a lot of it has to do with a doorknob. Yeah, a doorknob that has a sigil, the Hall of Justice sigil on the doorknob. It means something. I'm being vague so as not to spoil a lot of it because while it's infused with the typical gobbledygook that one expects to encounter in a far-reaching story like this, when you take a step back and you actually read it, it makes sense. How? I don't know. It doesn't seem possible. but it makes perfect sense because all of this machinations that Luther is doing, Brainiac is in it, Metron, Starman, the long-haired Starman, the Justice Society. They for some reason they don't remember the JSA.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, they don't remember them. The boy is making noise, but that's okay. Long story short, it's a 38 issue sweeping series that's absolutely phenomenal, but it doesn't have an ending.
Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the show to play?
Yeah, it doesn't have an ending unless you read Death Metal.
Oh god!
Death Metal. No, Death Metal is the ending to Scott's Justice League run, and I thought, oh, I read friggin' Death Metal when it came out, and I have the deluxe, oversized edition of Death Metals, which is Scott Snyder, Bobby Capullo, Jonathan Glavion, and FCO Placencia. And I thought, okay, it makes sense that somewhere along the line, Martian Manhunter and Kendra become an item. She would do anything for him. And they have a child together that is a product of the imaginary universe, the dark multiverse, which is a collection of dark versions of characters, most particularly Batman. Right? Where there's tons of Batman running around. Most notably, the Batman who laughs. The source wall is cracked, and Perpetua is freed. And what Perpetua is doing is trying to remake the multiverse in her image. Now, when Death Metal starts, Batman and Superman have it pretty bad. Themyscira is hell, and Diana, it really is a story about Diana. Like, you can look at his Justice League and say it's a Batman story. Is it really? Yeah. It could be Superman story. It could be a Wonder Woman story. It could be a John Jones Kendra story. It could be a Lex Luthor story. It could be a bunch of different things. Death Metal is a Batman Who Laughs story. And Perpetua is freed from the source wall and retries to make the multiverse using the dark multiverse in her image. Remake everything. She's destroying every Earth from the order of worlds. Like I said, it takes into every crisis, multiversity, the JSA JLA crossovers, like everything. How is this possible? You were going to say?
Of course.
No, I was going to say. I mean, it's interesting hearing your perspective on it now, like versus when it was coming out, because I vividly remember when it was coming out that it was supposed to be the tent pole. I mean, it was the top writer at DC getting keys to the Justice League to bring it back to its prominence, and kind of to your point, like in the moment, it didn't work. Like it just did. Like it didn't connect with people in the way that they had hoped it would. And I often wonder about how, if you go back and revisit runs, outside of the hype cycle, like how they feel differently. Sometimes probably for the worse, sometimes probably for the better. And it sounds like for you this is much better for the better because you're not caught up in the energy of it was supposed to be important with capital, I,
Right,
and
right.
it
I think the
now
fatal
you're just
flaw.
reading it as a story. It's just a story and you're reading it,
Right.
which I
Yeah,
think is
it's a very,
yeah.
very good story.
Hmm.
But I think the problem is the marketing of these things we call comic books. Because had death metal been in Justice League proper, the story would have resonated stronger, more strongly than a 7-issue miniseries with tie-ins galore. I'm talking. In addition to the the death metal trade paperback, I read the Multiverse Who Laughs, which collects. I'm not going to say death metal over and over again. Death metal Robin King, which is a version of Bruce Wayne that engineered his parents' death.
Rude.
Right? They did the pearls, by the way.
Of course.
Of course they did.
Which was drawn by Riley Rossmo.
If you don't
Riley
see the pearls,
seems,
did mom die?
on Scott, Rossmo seems to have glommed on to the Robin King. He's not a Batman. He is a Robin, and because bats are negative, whereas the Robin is indefatigable and inserts itself into any kind of situation and comes out on top. So he thought he'd go with the Robin. Dark Knight's Death Metal, Robin King, #1. Rise of the New God, #1. The Infinite Hour Extreme, #1, 3X's. The Multiverse Who Laughs, #1. Secret Origin, #1. And again, the names attached to this are incredible talents in their own. I said Brother Rossmore, right?
Yes. Yep.
Listen to this. Scott Snyder, Jeff Johns, James Tiny Onion the Fourth, Peter Tomasi, Brian Hill, Tony Patrick, Frank Jerry, Becky Cloonan, Sam Humphries, Joshua Williamson, Patton Oswalt, Amanda Connor, Jimmy Palmiotti, Saladin Ahmed, Brandon Thomas. They're just writers on this one volume. The art is by Riley Rosmo, Daniel St. Pierre, Jesus Marino, Nick Varela, Tyler Kirkham, Ragnar Morales, Dennis Cowan, Juan Gideon, Sanford Green, Chad Harden, Scott Eaton, Tom Medrick, Francis Manipul, Jerry Ordway, Ryan Benjamin, Paul Pelletier, Beth Sienkiewicz, Norm Bradman, Richard Friend, and Vicente Cifuentes. That's not even talking about the colors. It's incredible. And what it does is the multiverse laughs, right? I read the. I won't go through all because a lot of the creative teams are the same. War of the Multiverse, The Darkest Night, and the Justice League issues 53 to 57 that Germanico and Robson Roca did the art. So you got 53 to 57. It's one of those stories that it's like it shouldn't work. It's too big. It's slow roll, But most of the tie-ins take place in the stuff that was glommed over in the main series. Like, oh, these characters are going to go over here and get the Antichrist energy that's firing Perpetua away from her. And then they come back. And we don't see exactly what they went through. Here you do. Right? It's incredibly good. Incredibly good. But is it though? Because it doesn't have, it doesn't have an ending. You're reading the main Justice League book, and it just stops. And then picks up with another writer. I didn't read Snyder and Tynion, but you have to read death metal. So therefore, is it a good story, or is it a great one?
Well, I guess with the inclusion of death metal, it ratchets it up to great.
Yeah, it does. It really, really does. And I'm stunned that, because you hear Scott Snyder, okay, decent enough writer. What could he possibly do to the Justice League? Because we say it all the time that the circumstances have to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You're talking about this Justice League, right? Like the Avengers of the DC universe. You're talking about the cream of the cream. Not only are you talking about the Justice League, you're talking about everybody. So, in order that the threat is commensurate with the opposition, you have to have a pretty mean threat. And I think remaking the multiverse is a good threat, right? Yeah, I was stunned just how much I enjoyed it. Because after I closed the cover on book 3, I thought, what? That's it? That's all there is? Like, it was great until the last page, and then I directed to read death metal, and I thought I hadn't read death metal, but I didn't make the connection with the Justice League and the DC universe. I made, because you will pick up some of it, but you won't know how important it is not having read Justice League, Scott Snyder and Tiny Onion's Justice League. And I'm thinking, together, wow. Like, spin my head around. And I've said it during this review, I will continue to say it. A lot of it is the technobabble that one expects during events like this. The Perpetua has 3 sons. The monitors, the anti-monitor, the monitor, and the I think it's a world breaker, who fluctuate. Sometimes they're against their mother, other times they're for their mother, and they're just like on a dime would change allegiances. And I'm thinking it's human nature to do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so good that I think that the way comics are bought and sold played a huge difference in it being a good storyline as opposed to a great one. If it was allowed to continue. Poppy Capullo brought into. He could have done the 7 issues of Justice League, but instead they decided to do an event like they always do. You really can't fault them for that. You can, but you really can't because that's the way it's done anymore. But if you ever get a chance to read Scott Snyder and Tiny Onion, the fourth Justice League, read it. Read it, love it, and then keep going and read Death Metal. You don't have to read all the tie-ins. It's better if you do because for the most part, they're anthologies. And with anthologies, you get your good and you get your really, really bad. But for the most part, the anthology format was really good. Like, I can't. Aquaman aside, there's Becky Cloonan shits the bed twice. Both of which are Aquaman stories. They're almost unreadable. It's basically Aquaman swimming around for 10 pages. Basically, that's what it is. He's taking his allegiances and Poseidon and what he's going to do and blah, blah, blah. He's not the king of Atlantis anymore. Mara is taking on the job. Do we care? It could have been done in 1 page, right? But somebody at DC gave Becky carte blanche to produce her Aquaman story, and she thought that it was valuable enough to say what she had to say over the course of the 10 pages. I didn't feel the same way, but that's the one instance out of that's not a bad track record for an anthology. One sneaker in 200 and some pages. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not. Scott Snyder, James Tiny Onion, the Forts, Justice League, and Scott Snyder and Company's Death Metal. Amazing stuff.
I will say
I'm glad you loved it as much as you did.
Right? But it's nice to know, since it's been a few years since the event happened. I feel as though, for you, Vince, Death Metal ages better than, say, Future's End. Because you were all in on Future's End when it was coming out.
I still have the books.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't believe... I don't think it stuck the landing for you.
No, it didn't. And a lot of it has to do with the art.
Sure,
I
that
think
was...
the art's all over the place. Some of it really, really good. A lot of it really bad. You know, I don't think Poppy Capullo at DC has looked better than Death Metal.
Really? More than his early Batman stuff with Snyder?
I think it's better. Yeah. Because he gets to draw everyone. Like Sergeant Rock and Jonah Hex are astounding. Swamp Thing, who's a major player in most of the Death Metal, is unbelievably good. Yeah. And to have a chainsaw powered by a Woman's lasso, stop. You've won over my heart already. Where Doug Monkey does a series of variant covers of varying quality. You get Diana playing guitar. You get the Flash, which is Wally, who is part Dr. Manhattan. I'm telling you, it literally goes everywhere. Watchmen is a big part of it. But the Batman Who Laughs cover is unbelievably good. Because you get to see all the heroes playing music and the Batman Who Laughs singing. And he's projecting and has the two Robins on the leashes on chains. It's so good. So good. Yeah.
That's one of those characters that went supernova for like
Yeah.
a year. Everybody was wanting commissions and stuff, and then I feel like
Yeah.
no one's talked about it since.
And it's basically Bruce Wayne mixed with the Joker.
That's with the Joker,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I wonder how many people regret those tattoos.
As many as regret the what was the name of Homegirl from the Mad Max movie that like everybody
Furiosa.
Oh yeah, Furiosa. I swear to God, I saw 8,000 Furiosa images in my social media feed that year.
Yeah. The sequel stinks.
Oh, it's so bad, bro.
Yeah, it is. It
And
is.
it's a really good cast. It's just a terrible
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
It is. But the Mad Max with Furiosa, what's it called? Thunder Road?
Fury Road.
Fury Road.
Road,
It's amazing.
Yeah, very good movie.
Amazing movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Agreed.
that's all I want to say. When is a series good and when is it great? And what happens to make it great?
And talk about Schrodinger's cat. When is a series both good and not good at all?
I'm glad that Dap brought up Hawkgirl because we have some conceptual continuity, but it sounds like you have more.
Who?
You.
I do.
Yeah, sounds like you have more. Which you said when is the series good and when is it not good at all?
I was meaning that like I was trying to say that like there are series maybe like Scott Snyder's Justice League that some may view as phenomenal and others may view as terrible. It's like it's both things at once.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Dap
I mean,
sounds
it's a series that is not like that is a critically divisive series. Like a lot of people straight up hate that run. I mean, I read it as it was coming out, and I was just sort of indifferent to it. Like I didn't dislike it. I didn't dislike it. I didn't dislike it. I didn't think it was great, but like it was fine. I thought it looked great for the most part, for sure. So I don't really remember it like with any strong feelings one way or the other, but I remember after the fact, like that led to some people just hate Scott Snyder and some people love him. So I don't like, I don't know. I guess your mileage may vary depending on what you thought of that series.
Truth. I could take it or leave it. For the most part, I think Poppy Capola looks good. I think the Court of Owls is a neat idea, but it went on far too long.
I think that's probably why Capullo looked as great as he did in Death Metal, and he was able to cut loose and have some fun because he's finally able to draw characters with faces as opposed to the Court of Owls, where I mean everybody during that early Batman run was like their face was covered. So
Yeah,
that's fact.
I had the omnibus.
Did you?
Both of them. Yeah.
Damn.
And I got rid of them because it's diminishing returns. It goes on far too long, and the latter stories are not nearly as good as the ones in the beginning. Like the ones in the beginning are really good Batman stories. Commissioner Gordon in a robotic suit.
Oh yeah, and then he becomes Batman. Yeah, that.
Stop.
And they also changed Superman to the buzz cut and the t-shirt and looking more like Connor Kent. But the Justice League, when New 52 started, I mean, it had before an issue was released and they announced the lineup, it already had an uphill battle with me. So it was already way down on my list of things I was looking forward to out of everything with the New 52.
Right.
So yeah,
and then there's Superboy Prime. He's a big part of it.
Yeah, that's a no for me, dog. Although, I mean, he did.
I will say he does come through.
There was a recent Superman event where Superboy Prime did play a role, any deciding factor to a degree, and it went quite a ways with making things right. I mean, at least as far as I'm concerned. But yes, it was considering how the character was introduced, what the character did after his introduction, and how he behaved, how writers handled him over the years. You have a character using the name of Superboy, and he's a whiny entitled bitch, and it's just it. I mean, yeah, for people who may not be massive fans of Superman and like to see the character knocked down a peg, I'm sure it worked for them. That's cool, and he's just another character. But it just is. You also you can keep Crisis on Infinite Earths as its own thing, and just enjoy that story. But if you do look at the entire tapestry and Superboy Prime, I could see the argument that his actions later on may tarnish previous stories. Even though he wasn't a massive part of Crisis on Infinite Earths, he was part of the conclusion of it. And to bring him back, and then to have his actions cause the return of Jason Todd, it was a domino effect of just me constantly saying ugh and rolling my eyes. I wasn't in a good place with DC when these things were happening, but they've tried to writing some things over the years, righting some wrongs, and it's helped. But yeah, the recent event where Time Trapper / Doomsday brings Superboy Prime in to help Superman handle Darkseid's Legion. He Prime kind of atoned for past sins to a degree, so it wasn't
right. Well, I don't know if this holds any water for you, but a lot of his decision making is reworked a little in hindsight. There's a reason why he did what he did in Infinite Earths. It's retooled a bit, where the whininess is minimal at
good.
best. Yeah, he should be easy to take down. A character whose power is based on a lot on a suit that has exposed wiring, so to speak, is pretty easy to take down. But I guess not. Whatever. But I'm talking. It encapsulates everything. There's a reason why Crisis on Infinite Earths happened. There's a reason why Final Crisis and Infinite Crisis and the Dark Multiverse and the Source Wall and the New Gods and the JSA, and there's a reason for everything, and everything makes sense. Like, how is this possible? Convincing writing, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, extremely convincing. So that's all I have to say. I had so much fun reading the 3 volumes, and then God knows how many 4 volumes, 5 volumes of Death Metal. Scott Snyder's back on my radar.
All right.
Look at you.
Yeah.
As if Absolute Batman wasn't enough to put him back on your radar.
I think he's doing a good job. I don't think he's doing a great job, because I think Martian Manhunter is #1 with me, followed by Woman, and Batman. So 3, not bad, not bad. I do think Becky Clooney, not Becky Clooney,
Kelly Thompson.
Kelly is a better writer, and I think Lemire is
No, Dennis Camp.
Dennis. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
sorry.
Lemire's doing Absolute Flash.
Right, which I love as well. So, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care.
cool. Hey, whatever floats your boat, dog.
How can something be great and not great at the same time?
There you go. Schrodinger's comic.
You have to have discerning taste. And some
No, that's true.
Oh yeah.
So that's all I got to say about that.
What else we got?
Fun stuff.
Well, I'm going to take you to Italy. That's right, where the real comics are made.
They make manga.
Back in 1948, so back when Vince was born.
Yep.
A few gentlemen may have heard of before. Gian Bonelli and Aurelio Gallipini, two of the true icons of European comics. Back in 1948, they created a cowboy named Tex Willer.
Yep.
And you might be saying, well, what the fuck are Italians making a cowboy? Well, Italians have always loved the American Old West. That's like, it went all the way through to this stuff, all the way through like to the spaghetti westerns, of course, and it's always been a thing for them. And Tex Willer, which they created back then, has pretty much ever since been one of the most popular characters in Italian comics, right up there with Dylan Dog and the others. And he is I'd say he's a fairly stereotypical character for the archetype, right? Like he's a a Caucasian man who is of high morals but isn't afraid to kill, quote, for the right reasons. All right, so yeah, so as I was saying, the Italians love westerns, which is a little weird, but they always have. And I think this is probably one of the earliest examples of that because, we're talking 1940s. I think I first learned of the Italians loving westerns because my dad was a huge, huge fan of the Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns. And I remember asking him as a kid, like, why are they called spaghetti westerns, and learned how they were made in Italy, etc., etc. But in any event, the stuff I'm talking about tonight is actually, it is Tex Willer. It is Italian, but it's far more recent. I'm pretty sure all of these stories have come out in the last 8 to 10 years. And it's our friends at Epicenter Comics did a Kickstarter for Tex the Author Collection, Volume 1. And it is this collection is beautiful. It's 6 oversized 60-page hardcovers with matching trade dress that, when they're all in the slipcase together, make a face of Tex Willer. So you know exactly what order they're supposed to be in, which is nice. And the list of the creators is astounding. You've got The Hero and the Legend, which is written and drawn by Mr. Paolo Druna Serpieri. It's absolutely breathtaking. You've got Snake Man, which is drawn by Enrique Breccia, son of the wonderful Alberto Breccia, but also a very accomplished cartoonist in his own right. You've got The Man with the Golden Guns, which is drawn by R.M. Guerra of Scalped and the Goddamned fame. Of course, the books he did here in the States with Jason Aaron. You've got The Final Mission, which is drawn by Alfonso Font, who I haven't read a lot of his stuff that he's known for, but I have read The Prisoner of the Stars, because that was translated over here, which was exceptional. You've got Cinnamon Wells, which is drawn by Mario Alberti. Now, I will say, if there's one nitpick I have about this collection, and it's just one, it's that particular story was written by Chuck Dixon, but it is what it is. And then you've got Challenge to the Old Mission, which is drawn by Sergio Tiselli. So, I mean, you're talking about 6 of the absolute, best European artists around. Well, I guess one of them is Argentinian, but you get the point. Foreign, non-U.S. artists around, taking their stance on Tex Willer. And Tex is, like I was saying, he's a fairly stereotypical character. I would say some of these stories felt, probably intentionally so, given that it's a pulp character, felt heavy, like ham-fisted, right? Like the characters are as much stereotype as they are authentic. He uses big sort of like holier than thou words, but at the end of the day, like he's still like killing people and scalping people, and like it's interesting dichotomy. But again, nothing you don't see in any other kind of pulp adventure story from the time. So, but it's like I said, it's a beautiful package. Each story visually is completely different. I mean, all the artists I mentioned have vastly different approaches to storytelling, both in terms of the way they approach the segmentation of the story, but also their lines. Right, look very, very different. But everyone is beautiful, and I have to say that as a fan of Old West stories, as a fan of that setting, the genre, and in all of its forms, this is a wonderful addition to that. And to their credit, despite the fact that it's an oversized 6 hardcover slipcase, it was really affordable. I mean, I'm trying to look at what the actual price was that I paid. Yeah, dude. So get this, it was only $70, dude. Which is pretty incredible. So
it's less than $10. No.
Well, it's like $14 a book.
Yeah.
$14 a book. Yeah, which is absolutely insane considering that, like, absolutes and other, like, an absolute, a DC absolute book is like $180, $200 now, right? So, and to me, this is just the same kind of quality. So really great deal. This was a limited edition offering. They made 600 of them, but only 246 were sold during the Kickstarter. So I believe if you go to Epicenter, EPICENTER Comics, you can get there's still copies available, and I just think it's highly recommended. I honestly can't think of a better, if you have the budget to spend, $70 plus shipping, so let's say $100 on a collection. I mean, this is as good as it gets, just in terms of quality and format. So, yeah, super fun. I mean, I didn't know much about Tex Willer until one of our friends put me on this Kickstarter. And, in a world where I get sent Kickstarters all the time, and it's like, you want to support it, and then you look and it's like $27 for a 22-page single issue. And you're like, well, I like you, but do I like you that much? Like, to be able to get 360 pages in high quality hardcover with a slipcase for $70, it's just literally like, it was like a, sign me up 10 times over. The other cool thing is it's volume 1. Like I said, there are decades of Tex Willer stories to be told if there's demand. So hopefully this was a successful endeavor for Epicenter, and this is not the last we see of the Tex author collection, because I would love to be talking about volume 2 in a year or so. So
Right.
check it out if you like Western comics. This is definitely a nice addition to the genre.
I have a lot of text reprints.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know if they're Epicenter or Comics Lit or like I don't remember exactly who did them,
Yeah.
but I never walked away from a text reprint thingy. It was okay.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Exactly. I mean, yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like, wow, why is this character bigger than he is? And
I mean, he is very big in Europe. It's just it's much like Dylan Dog. It just hasn't quite ever
yeah,
taken off here, even though it sells a ton in Europe. So,
right. Kind of like the Ducks.
like the Duck,
Yeah.
sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Benelli, right? Same. I mean, Benelli's sort of the king
But,
of Italian
right,
comics. Yeah.
Benelli books, yeah.
Yep.
This is neither here nor there, but I'm probably going to save this for a spotlight. But the Duck books and the mouse books coming out of Fantagraphics these days are extra long, uh, stylishly produced, worth looking into. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, and they're not shying away from the continued storyline motif, where they're not doing done ones, they're doing continued stories, which is admirable. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Excuse me.
But Texas is cool. Again, you'll have to forgive me for not knowing exactly. It could be Epicenter, but Texas is awesome.
Yes, sir.
It does my heart good to know that you're catching up to David and I.
There you go.
One of these days,
One
you'll
of
be
these days.
neck and neck.
One of these days.
Nah, not soon, but it's one of these days.
Stranger things have happened.
What do you got, David?
Um, I don't know if you've heard of this artist, David Rubín. He he,
Oh, I
he
heard of him.
he's
Yeah.
doing this. He was doing this book under Matt Kindt's Flux Comics at a Dark Horse. I read the 3 issues of Space Scouts earlier today, and it was it was fun. It goes by pretty quick. It looks great. Obviously, I mean that's redundant, but I I was digging the concept of uh, uh, all the planets. There's one resident from each planet representing their planet. There's a whole process involved as far as if you win and become a member of the Space Scouts, you basically your family becomes royalty. Your planet becomes a kingdom. But things aren't quite what they appear to be on the surface. As the main character, Ember, everybody on the Space Scouts pretty much has a power. Some are from planets that like Legionnaires, where everybody on the planet has this unique ability, but or some of the contestants or potential scouts are unique compared to everybody else on their planet. But Ember becomes a real leader, a real. She's good general, good tactician. She knows how to utilize everybody's abilities, and so that they can overcome whatever enemy is in front of them. But I was intrigued by the later issues, because since things aren't exactly as they seem, it's a little bit more similar to some of the things that people may be experiencing here these days. As far as you can't believe what your eyes are showing you, you can't believe what's being presented across the airwaves. Even if you want to fight the system, others before you have tried and didn't succeed. So there's a little bit of futility, and unfortunately, but overall, this was this was a lot of it. It felt a little, it reads a little different than other things I'm used to from Kindt. And again, I've read probably, I don't want to say I haven't read everything he's written. I don't know if I could say most, but the things that I have read that I've enjoyed, this feels quite different than obviously Department H or mind management and just anything else you could think of that he's written in recent years. But I really just dug the concept. And you got the sci-fi, you got the outer space. There's a lot here that I really do dig. You get a little there's like a hot mo at the back of each issue, telling you the abilities of the different characters we've seen throughout the three issues. There's a little bit more backstory, especially with the original Space Scouts, that I would have liked to have. It wasn't their story. This was Ember's story. This was presenting how the Scouts are chosen. So I get that aspect of it. But based on the little things that are mentioned in passing in conversations, or even in the biographies of the characters, I would have liked to have seen or explored a little bit more in the original Scouts. But that's a me thing. Again, that's not what this series was about. So I get that. And perhaps everything that Kindt wants to say about the original Scouts is in the back matter and we don't need any more. But seeing these recruits and how they do work well together, and some of the things that they've had to overcome, because there's a contest to start everything off, and he gets whittled down until the remaining 10. And I had an absolute kick out of some of the there are 3 basically head honchos that and they're the ones who pretty much let the recruits know where they're going, who they're about to battle, what's going on. And I'll be damned if one of them isn't Frank fucking Miller. I love it. He's wearing his fedora. He's got the sunken in cheeks. He's got the scraggly beard. It's straight up Frank Miller. So props to Rubín for that. I feel like the Green Lady might be Shelley Bond, but that's just me projecting. This was fun. I'm purposely being vague. The 3rd issue just came out, so I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. But it's I mean, there's one character, Vince. His name is Karate Kick. He's got no arms. He's just got really strong legs, and the monks remove their arms, so you don't rely on them. So you only do everything with your feet. And my man's going around kicking everybody. It's the characters that were created for this story. Some of them are just I adore. Some of them are just kind of head scratchers. You're almost you think that they're just cannon fodder. But yeah, this was the colors are great. Like I said, it's written by Matt Kindt. Art, colors, and letters by Dave Rubín. The colors are popping. It's a stunning book. There's so much detail in these panels, on these pages. The colors are vibrant. It's while it is violent and death happens on many pages. It's the colors and Rubín's lines that make it a bit more lively. It's almost happy, and which is weird considering the violence and the threat that these characters are facing. But I did. I had a lot of fun with it. I went in with absolutely zero expectations. Just knowing that, of course, since it's a Flux Comics, a Flux House comic, that of course Jason would be all about it. So I at least wanted to enjoy something, read something that I know that our boy would our boo would really dig. So yeah, I'm glad to finally have caught up with it, Jason.
That's cool. Yeah, it was final issue too, with 3-issue series. So
Yeah,
yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, I obviously love Rubín's art, and I love Kindt's work generally. But I am a little left wondering what the well, it seems silly to say what's the point of it. It's the point of seeing what it tells you, but like he crams a lot into 3 issues
yes,
without like I don't quite know what he wants us to come away with about it, other than like war is bad, which is like, all right, well, I mean, I'm guessing we already kind of knew that. It felt very much like just like in my mind, I was like, okay, so Kent's been watching the Hunger Games with his daughter, and he's like, I should do a space version of the Hunger Games, because that's kind of like what it is. It's got that to it. It's yeah, I don't know. Like I can't tell if he wanted this to just be a little quick, like flight of fancy, or if he was trying to make a bigger point. But yeah, it looked great. I mean, but I will say, to me, at least I speak for no one but myself. For a 3-issue series, I feel like, to me, it was diminishing returns with each subsequent issue. I thought the first issue was phenomenal. I thought the second issue felt like a bridge issue where I'm like, wow, there's a lot left to happen here. And then I felt like the third issue was like, oh, okay, so that's all that happened. So I saw it. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I enjoyed it, but I can't say I loved it. It's not gonna. I think it's not gonna be on my pantheon of things that I would recommend from Kindt or from Rubín if people are like, what should I read of theirs? So.
no, that's extremely fair. I felt because I didn't know it was 3 issues until I get to the end of the third issue, but it may have been an odd choice to have like almost half of the second issue a double page spread of various of origins of the various characters. It just you only have 3 issues,
right?
And you're wasting half an issue on this, which again, I mean, it's cool. I love an origin story, but it also ate up half an issue. So yeah, I get it. It's maybe like you said. I mean, 3 issues. I don't know how fast Rubín works, but maybe this was just to kill some time before the next thing, and it's easier to just do the issues instead of maybe making this another OGN. But yeah, it looks cool, and I dug the concept, but I definitely see your point when you do think of everything that Matt and David have done together. I could see this not being in your top 5, based on whatever they're going to do in the future also. But yeah, it's looks cool, but I definitely see your point.
Yeah,
I think I read it. I think you are somewhat marred by the history of Kindt and Rubín. I think that as a one-volume story, it works extremely well.
Okay. All right, good.
Yeah, I think it's the most accessible Kindt and Rubín. Again, at the end of the third issue, was it worth telling? Yeah, why not? Well, it's not. It doesn't rank among Kindt and Reen's best, but their best is far better than most people's best.
Sure.
I think that it was a worthy read for 3 issues. Come on, it did the job. It told the story.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful at which to look, and it worked.
Respect.
Is it the last time we're going to see Space Scouts? Probably not. We'll probably get Volume 2. But then again, I'm not the best judge of longevity because I thought Free Planets was, which is very similar, was going to be canceled before. Because that shit is just unreal.
That's how you really feel.
It is. It's like 9 day, and it's a book I put next to Space Scouts as one is done right and one is done wrong. You know, where I think Free Planets is impenetrable for the most part, full of stuff that doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Every page of Space Scouts means something because it's only three issues.
Yeah.
Right.
Where I had a good time with it. That's at this point. That's basically all we can hope for, right? Is that you have a good time with it. I think each issue is worth the paper on which it's printed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's fair.
yeah. I thought it was good. I don't have the history of Kindt and Rubín that Jason has, or Dab, but did I like it better than some of their other team ups?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Yeah. I thought it was just fun. I don't have much to say about it other than
Mm-hmm.
it was really good. I, for what Dap said, what you said, it looked good. It reads good. It's a fun comic. And it's only 3 issues.
It's only three
Money,
issues.
yeah, Money in the Bank. It's not a manga that goes on for like 100 and some much volumes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was fun. Is it my turn?
Yes.
I'm gonna go quickly, because I don't think these need much expanding upon, um, other than the fact that I'm still I'm still split on Cryptology, the horror magazine from TwoMorrows.
Okay.
The fifth issue explores the iconography of the skull in comic books and movies and pulps and everywhere, basically. If it's a skull and it's being exploited in some way, the editor thought it prudent to capitalize on it. And I think the strength of cryptology is also its weakness in that it tries to do too much. Now, when we're dealing with the magazines, doing too much is a rarity these days. Most magazines are willing to exploit things, but only so much, right? One, they'll focus on comics to the expense of horror movies and other genre bric-a-brac. whereas Cryptology tries to include everything. And I think in doing so, in trying to cover all of the bases, they cover none of the bases at all. My point being, in this issue alone, you have the Ghost Rider, right? Who has skull-faced iconography at its core, right? It focuses on Johnny Blaze and the OG Ghost Rider and the offshoot Ghost Riders, Danny Ketch, and how Nicolas Cage loves the character. Why he would be in the movie is beyond me. If you have an affinity for the character, you read the script, right? Okay. That being said, it also shows Disney skeletons and pulp memorabilia with the Spider, the Shadow, Dark Savage, All Detectives, Spicy Mystery, Nick Carter. If it has a skull on the cover, chances are really good that it'll be within the page count reproduced here. It also goes into Aurora models, the Pirates of the Caribbean series, which I loved so much. But it also goes into Batman and the Reptile and George Wilson's beautiful, far better than the interiors. George Wilson did a series of covers for Gold Key. Ripley's Believe It or Not, Boris Karloff, Dark Shadows. They're beautiful covers, and like I said, far better than the interiors. And the interiors aren't bad, but again, then you have the comics, right, where it's the skull, Mysterious Ventures, Dark Mysteries. If a cover appeared showcasing a skull, chances are very, very good that it was reproduced inside. And I'm thinking, that is incredibly comprehensive. But in trying to do so much, they do so little. Whereas it's a veritable landslide of information about the skull, but it doesn't like there's a Wayne Castle featurette. In doing so much, it ends up doing so little. Does that make sense to you?
Sure.
And I'm toward, because every issue is like that. Whether sometimes it'll focus on a vampire, and it'll show vampires throughout the genre, being pulp and comics and models and toys and and movies and paperback, where it's almost too much information. Narrow it down. And I know I'm talking out my ass, because a lot of times I'd be like, well, it does focus on comics at the expense of the other genres, or it doesn't focus on enough, where the focal point of each issue of Cryptology is almost too much. So I'm still getting the magazine, but I don't know how to say it without it being negative because it's far from being negative. Um, it's too voluminous. It's too comprehensive. That's what it's saying. I also read most half of Alter Ego number 188, which is a 24.95
Jeez,
king size special flip book.
love it.
Yeah, and you will because it focuses on a little known artist. Not the least of which is John Buscema. Yeah, and Marie Severin and George Tosca when he was good. But it also focused on somebody. I want to get his name right. Murphy Anderson, Joe Kubert. Half of the magazine is Marvel, and half of the magazine is DC. And you have your stalwarts, your Carmine Infantino, Stuart Schwartz, or I said Murphy Anderson, Gardner Fox. You also get a an interview with somebody called Gil Kane.
Ooh,
Yeah, whose early days working as Private E Cats,
yep.
and
Little Eli.
I did not know this, where he hid his name from the British ship because working in comics was not considered fashionable at the time until it was, and then he was okay.
Yep.
Yeah, but there's a photo where Gil was ghosting for Joe Simon and Jack Kirby when they were in the army. And 50 years later, Jack met Gil at the 1993 San Diego Comic Con with Jim Salicrup in the middle. And it's a photo, but it's worth the price of the magazine alone to me.
That's awesome.
Because you get commentary by third and fourth stringers. Remembering Gil did this. That's fun. That's fine. But this is straight from the horse's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to me, is invaluable. Where they're keeping the memory of these things alive, where other magazines aren't, right? So Alter Ego number 188. I will finish my slam bam. Thank you, ma'am. With the EC Fan Addict fanzine for 2025, number 7. And to call this fanzine is a bit of a misnomer. I don't know why it's Graphics Underground, but it is.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You get Rosetta, Jack Davis, Harvey Kurtzman, like, and sorry, Humbug, Panic, the EC comic proper, Monster Journal years, by Roger Hill. Roger is the editor. There's tons and tons of Wally Wood art and Jack Davis art, and before they were, I want to say the household names they are today, but they're still not household names. Ashcan covers and library copies, and it's amazing to me that Roger Hill is the editor and founder of the magazine, but the editor proper is Grant Geisman, because Roger Hill died in 2020. Let's try that again. 2025. So posthumously, he's editing this magazine, and it is just an amazing treasure trove of information that you can get nowhere else. These guys lived it. They spend thousands upon thousands of dollars on easy pages as and original art. What's the covers? That to have the 1-2 punch of the collector willing to do that, and juxtaposed by the people that actually made the comics, is invaluable to me. And so, Square Mound, only $16. Like, you can't buy this kind of information.
It's true.
You can't. So 1, 2, 3. Web Man, thank you, Spaceman. 3, I think of the better. Just the fact that the fanzine is still alive makes me smile like that.
No.
That I think you should support these companies. Fantagraphics and TwoMorrows, I think, are doing the, if I was a printing man, I would say they're doing the Lord's work
I would agree with that.
in keeping this information alive. Yeah, and in the Alter Ego, you get Buckley Gilbert's faucet pages, you get the usual stuff, but it's a special double-sided, double-size issue. It's a book, really. The 3 out of 3 are books. The least of which being the Cryptology. It's mostly a magazine, but the other 2 can be considered books because, like I said, square bound, glossy format, full color, amazing production values, amazing. So support them, Fantagraphics and TwoMorrows.
I have a couple of back issues on the way, including the I believe the Keith Giffen tribute issue.
Oh yeah, that one just came out not too long ago.
It was resolicited because of all the troubles with Diamond, so they had to wait and then resolicit it. So
right.
Because the original, the one from September 2024, when it was solicited, that was canceled, and then it was reoffered last November. So yeah, that should be coming soon.
When you read that, let me know, because I will read mine as well. Again, Keith recently died, and where are you going to get the information now? Yep. You're not.
I think Gil Kane is mentioned almost as often as Roy Thomas is in Alter Ego.
That's a lot.
I know. He constantly has articles about Gil in the magazines, and some of them are repeats, some of them are just revisits of past interviews. But yeah, it not. I mean, it feels like almost once a year there's going to be something about Gil Kane on the cover on a blurb for all.
And it's one thing to say, "Oh, that fucking Roy Thomas again." Oh Jesus, but he lived it, right? And his work speaks for itself. It is incomparable. Yeah, he should shit the bed once or twice, but for the most part, his work is stellar.
Yeah.
And half of the I shouldn't say half. A good part of the magazine for me is seeing who still toes the company line and who is brave enough to go out and say, that character, that person, he was the nephew of the publisher. He got the job because of who he was, not what he could do. And Marie Severin comes out and says, Stan was awesome. Stan was creative. All the ladies loved him. I thought he was a beautiful man, and I enjoyed working with him. And who's to say that Marie Severin, of all people, is lying? Right?
Right. Well, but
Roy, on the other hand, will come out and tell you that Stan was not all he was cracked up to be. But then again, is that a beef Roy had with Stan? Or is that legit? Like, you don't know. It's one person's word against another. So who knows? But it's fun to see who says, all right, this stops now. The guy's dead. Let's sell it like it is. And then you have one camp that is that way, and another camp it's like, no, he was awesome. He always treated me fairly. He gave me work when I needed it. He was extremely creative, and I loved him. Who was wrong? Was right. It's he said, she said, type deal.
and it's like that where I work also, because there may be people who, well, people who are no longer working with me. They've either retired or quit or were fired. On the outside, people outside of my office, they may think, oh, they're always nice to me. I can, they always get back to me when I have a question. They think the world of that person. But when you share an office and you know that who that person is and you deal with them every day, it's easy to understand why one person may think the world
Exactly.
of that guy, and the other person's like, he's
Exactly.
not all that great.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's a matter of perspective.
and maybe Stan knowing, maybe because Marie was a woman in an industry that pretty much is
Well, that
mostly
was
male.
that was a part of it. Yeah, it was that
I'm sure
she
he
was,
treated her kinder than he would have treated other dudes.
Right, right, right. And it didn't hurt the fact that she was awesome.
Absolutely.
Could do the Hulk realistically. Could do the Hulk in a cartoon format.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt that her brother was one of the greatest comic artists ever. It, so who's to say?
Mm-hmm.
No. But long story short, support these publishers because they are amazing.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's all I got.
Done.
But one more time, into the breach, we would like to thank cheapgraphicnovels.com. Cheapgraphicnovels.com have everything you want at the price you want to pay. Check them out today. Leave us a review at wherever you listen to this because it matters and we appreciate it. And that's others to that. And last but not least, check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/11 O'Clock Comics. 2 tiers. Big deal. Easy peasy. $5, $10 gets you a whole bunch of stuff, including the return of the audio and all that jazz. Patreon.com/11 O'Clock Comics. In your travels, it's something really weird about this series. It was originally solicited as is it a 10-issue series? Let me think. Yeah, it was originally solicited as a 10-issue series. It was truncated by 1 issue to a 9-issue series, and I hesitate to think that was a boon. Because in for a penny, in for a pound. If you're in for 10 issues and you pull back for 9, are you really saving that much? Oh yeah.
I mean, you're saving 10%.
Is that a lot? Are sales that
Sure.
bad?
I mean, if you're a company that makes like 4% margins, sure.
Well, the book in question is written by a gentleman whose name we said a lot in the past, but we haven't said it so much in the present. Tony Bedard wrote this
Oh
Oh,
book.
yeah.
wow.
Oh.
Yeah, he of amazing books for Crushing and others,
And Valiant.
and and Valiant. It was penciled by Scott McDaniel, who had a phenomenal run on Batman at one time, but has fallen off our radar, so to speak. I hesitate to think of when the last time we mentioned Scott McDaniel.
Yeah, it has been a minute.
Phew. Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Right?
Yeah.
Andy Owens is inker. The colors is a bunch of different people. Each issue focuses on a different. I should say the majority of each issue. Each because there was 10 of them, and there's 10 heroes. The each issue was supposed to focus on a certain hero. I am talking about the Great 10, which I've had sitting in a box forever. And I thought, well, time is now. Let's read it. The 10 heroes in question are the Immortal Man in Darkness, the Celestial Archer, the Accomplished Perfect Physician, Thundermind, August General in Iron, Ghost Fox Killer, Mother Earth Champions, Shaolin Robot, Seven Deadly Brothers, and the Socialist Red Guardsman. That's China's answer to superheroes. What happens when your, for lack of better words, Justice League comes in contact with the gods they after which they were patterned? What happens? Well, these 9 issues tell the story of that, and I'm not going to spoil it, but the there's unrest in China and Hong Kong as usual, and some are loyalists to the Chinese cause. Others see the cracks starting to form in the armor. The People's Republic of China are not being entirely forthcoming with their subjects, and the Great Ten learned that the hard way, and it just feels like I know it's only one issue, but it feels like the ending was rushed a bit. That being said, it's missing is an issue. So 10%, I guess, is a lot of money. I had a great deal of fun with this. A lot of it is it's predicated on Chinese mythology and lore and facts, whether it be mythology of China or the actual flesh and blood people that were in charge of the people of China, like Ma Tong's in it, Lao Tzu's in it. You know, so you get history, and you get a huge slice of the present day, along with the Great Ten, how they came to be, and what their power sets are, and where they're going, and you get the Chinese gods. Are they really gods? Read the miniseries and find out. But the Great Ten was a lot of fun. I would recommend it,
Nice.
especially if you are tired of the way comic books are made today. That this is a series that doesn't shiv. It doesn't care. It doesn't care that there are other things going on in the DC universe proper. It basically focuses on China and Hong Kong at the expense of everything else. So the Great Ten, lots of fun.
And years before the Superman of China was introduced.
He makes a somewhat brief appearance.
Okay.
Yeah, but as does it's kind of hard to use the Great Ten and not have Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not nudge nudge wink wink. Am I so clever? It's more story driven than that, which is good. I thought. In fact, the writer is invisible, which makes me happy. That is number one. Why I don't speak a lot about Grant Morrison these days is because, oh, Grant Morrison's doing a new book. It so what? It's any good. That's the
Sure, sure.
that's the question. And also Superman is advertised like crazy in these issues. It just made me smile that Morrison's being given his properties at the expense of characters. I think he created them, right? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
But Tony Bedard does a great job delineating the mythology of these characters while stepping away from the limelight, which I think it should be. That's it.
Respect.
Yeah.
Going back real quick to leaving a comment. Shout out to Alex for leaving a quick review on Spotify for the last couple of episodes. So
nice.
yeah, wherever the podcast is posted, please feel free to leave a comment. We definitely appreciate it. In your travels, this was a one shot, just something to read in between the heavier stuff or the ongoing stuff. It is a Superman issue. It's the Superman Chains of Love special. The first story is written by Leah Williams, art by Ig Guara, who I haven't seen in a minute. Colors by Fabi Marquis, and I guess Jack Ryder is kind of like a podcaster these days. I mean, I know he's no Vic Sage. He's not going to have he's not going to be on the radio or behind or in front of a television camera. But it's a bit, Jack Ryder's a bit different than what I'm used to. So I don't know if this is a new thing, but basically the gist of the issue is Livewire. Leslie Willis has been paroled. She's wearing an ankle monitor. She can't, no wattage over a certain amount, or else she ends up going right back to strikers. But she just wants to get back to her apartment and basically play DJ. But while all that's happening, the Creeper is quite smitten with the young lady. So Creeper wants to team up with Livewire, and they have a concept called Hardwired, where they basically talk to villains, put a villain in a hot seat, and basically it's an interview. It's a Q&A session. The heroes are fine with this because they're monitoring it, making sure things don't get out of hand. But they play off together well. They're having fun doing this little gig until Creeper comes clean and lets Livewire know that Creeper and Jack Ryder are the same person, and she does not take that news well because Jack Ryder kind of talks shit about her on his podcast. So she's got some things to unpack there, but when that happens, and she kind of freaks out a little bit, the Black Lightning and Guardian show up to bring her back to Stryker since she violated the terms of her parole. But Creeper wants to make this right and fix it, and he does, and things seem to be. It's quite a happy ending, at least for these characters. And the Superman appearance is fun as well. The second story, the backup story, is interesting because we're introduced to a character named Bill Zarrow, and he is treated like shit by his wife and their kids. He's also treated like crap when he gets to work at the Daily Planet. He gets treated like crap when he orders a hot dog from the dirty water cart. Like he can't catch a break. He apologizes to everybody. He's a sad sack. He's mopey. His family treats him like shit, so I can imagine why. But he wakes up one day and he hears his wife say, "Good morning, darling," and she's a bizarro. And he goes to the kitchen. And his sons are bizarros. And his neighbor who was giving him shit, his neighbor borrowed his lawnmower and then has the balls to tell Bill, "You got to get your lawn in check or else, I'm the president of the HOA. I'll fine you." And Bill's like, "But you borrowed my lawnmower. You haven't." And it's like, so he wakes up the next day after his wife and kids are all happy to see him. And he goes outside and there's his neighbor saying that, I'm returning your mower and I'm going to go ahead and mow your lawn. He gets on the bus, whereas the day before, the bus ride was horrible. He was sitting next to a dude who had ordered garlic bagels with whitefish. Now today's bus, the chairs are basically massage chairs. The guy sitting next to him as a passenger isn't rude, isn't annoying. He gets to work, and his supervisor at the Daily Planet is happy to see him and has no complaints about his work. He goes to the hot dog cart. There's caviar on his hot dog, and he's excited. He's happy. He gets home. Life is great. Superman comes, knocks on the door, and says, well, we're going to fix this. Apparently, there was a dimensional tear between our Earth and Bizarro World. And it was also... It was a fifth dimensional tear, so there was magic involved. And you and your Bizarro doppelganger, Bill, were the only two beings switched. And he's like, and so Bill's taking all this in, and Superman's like, you okay? And all Bill does is look up at him and says, just please don't take me back. And we see Bizarro Bill waking up on Earth, and his wife is giving him crap. His sons are giving him crap, but he's happy because he's a Bizarro. So it's a cute little story, but I mean, I just felt so bad for this dude who's like, I no love at home, and no love where I'm supposed to belong. But they love me here, and I don't want to go back home. And you kind of feel for him. But it was a fun one shot. It's over. The second story, I believe it's written by Dan Slott, art by Rosie Compy, colors by Trish Mulville. So in your travels, if you're looking for just something that's not Superman heavy, but still has connections to the current Superman universe, Superman Chains of Love special from DC.
Chains of Love.
Chains of Love. Thanks, Erasure.
Oh, yeah. So I got caught up on the first of the Energon Universe series, aka Void Rivals, written by Mr. Robert Kirkman, with a number of artists actually of late. But this is I just adore this series, man. It's like, it's definitely a series where you can't second screen it. I mean, it's a pretty complicated story with lots of different moving parts, lots of different characters. It reminds me of Saga in that way. I'm not comparing it to Saga. I mean, Saga is like an all-time great, but I'm saying just the structure and the scope of the characters and the like. I think it's similar in that regard. But I read issues 16 through 25, so a pretty big chunk that I was catching up on. And we're getting to a point that things are all starting to coalesce. Like, all of the questions you've had as you're reading along, I think are now we're getting the answers finally, and all the pieces to the puzzle are falling into place, which is really fun. We've talked about this before over the last 2 years, but for those that maybe don't remember, it is a story set in the Energon universe. There are two societies that live on opposite ends of a gigantic artificial structure that's built around a black hole called the Sacred Ring. It's two warring alien races, the Agorians and the Zertonians. And in the beginning of the book, it's essentially kind of like a Romeo and Juliet. It's a hero from both sides. Derek is the Agorian, and so Leela is the Zertonian. They are fighting in a space battle, and they crash their ships onto a planet, and basically mortal enemies, and then they fight to the near death. But then realize that their best chance of surviving and getting off this place is to work together. And enemies become friends, and then they take their masks off because they.
I think you hit the pause
What
button.
happened? You hit mute?
Yeah. Mute, pause. Same thing. There's 10.
Where are you? Bruh.
Yeah. He's got to know by now.
Not really selling me on Void Rivals, man. Oh. Everything's okay. We're not hit with the wind yet. Yeah, I'm not boy chicken.
Where'd he go?
Yeah, I had to restart. At least it wasn't just me tonight.
Crazy.
Should be wild.
See what happens when you rip DVDs? And you try and talk.
Oh, I love it.
Not doing anything. Ripping a DVD.
Torrenting all
Yeah.
this shit.
Yeah. Hello.
I think.
Yeah, he's rebooting. Taking too long.
Come on, Boo. You could do it. How was Happy Gilmore 2?
It was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. They took an approach that was somewhat different.
What, with his kids? Or.
I don't want to say because you can't watch it. It's that some people wanted to participate, but only so much. Now I don't know whether that was because.
There he is.
Okay.
For the love of God,
What
Yeah.
happened?
bro! I just wrapped up my inner travels, and then I'm like, you guys didn't say anything. I'm like, what the fuck? Why aren't you responding?
Yeah, well, we weren't sure if you hit mute. All of a
No.
sudden you were quiet and you disappeared.
Yeah. The
I was literally
last,
just
You rebooted.
soliloquying, and then I've wrapped up, and I'm like, uh oh.
no, the last thing you said was that they decided to work together. Blah blah blah.
I don't even remember what part that was. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
All right.
Ugh.
Make something up. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, technical difficulties, but yeah, as I was saying, in your travels, you got to catch up on Void Rivals like I did. It's a book that I think, when it first came out, it was a book that everyone was talking about because of the fact it had a Transformer in the first issue, and it was like, oh, this is going to be tied in, and that was the novelty. But I would say that while the Transformers are in it and Cobra La, ergo GI Joe is in it, they are really just supporting characters to the centerpieces of the Zertonians and the Igorians. So I just think Kirkman's hitting all the right notes here in that he's giving us a brand new story, a space epic that's full of intrigue and complexity and smart plot, but he's giving us just a little enough of that candy as children of the 80s to make us geek out. And it's a really smart formula. And yeah, I think it's awesome. And I even say that with the idea that like Hot Rod's probably the most prominent Transformer in the book, and I'm not like a huge Hot Rod fan. So, but between like him and the Quintessence being involved, I mean, this is definitely like if you're like many of you, absolutely like heroically in love with the Transformers movie, then you got to be reading this book. Now, I'm on record as saying I don't love the movie, but that said, I think the series is great, despite the fact that Kirkman clearly was a fan of the movie, because a lot of this is related to the movie, and it's all coming to a head. Like, and as is often the case in Transformers lore, it's basically going to be a battle of one group of people against another group of people, supported by two planet-sized robots, because we come to learn over the course of the series that the Sacred Ring was built in part as a way to keep a much larger than planet-sized being of great power trapped in this black hole, and let's just say he's probably not going to stay trapped forever, and so they got to figure out a way to be ready for when he's no longer trapped. So, and that may or may not relate to other Transformers, like Trion level Transformers being involved. So, super cool, man. It's super cool, and yeah, I just think it's a series that I feel like probably doesn't get talked about as much as it did when those books are coming out, because GI Joe and Transformers have taken on lives of their own, and obviously what DWJ did with Transformers, that book probably zoomed to the top of people's interest lists, which is totally fine. Transformers is a great book too. But for me, I think this is the most well-constructed story of all of these series so far. Like, it's a genuinely intriguing, nuanced, multi-layered story, and it's. I think we're in issue number 25 was the first issue of a 6-issue arc called the Quintessence War, and I don't think we have more than like a year left in this story, just because so many of the boxes are getting ticked now, and we're getting all of the questions answered. So. My guess is we'll be wrapping this up in 2026. Would be my thoughts. So it's great.
Yeah, we'll see. It doesn't hurt that Jetfire is the first Transformer proper that you see.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but
Kirkman is like the main. He's the main. Like I feel like he's the main character in the book, like the main Transformer in the book.
Yeah. Right.
And Pythona is really the only Geo. I mean, the only it's Pythona and a bunch of other Cobra La like guardsmen, but she's the only like character with a backstory from the cartoons and the
right. In lieu of not spoiling anything.
Sure.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, listen to what Jason David said and support as any way you can, because we love you so much. And in the meantime, say goodnight. Oh, I could play YouTube. Can I?
Play with yourself,
David.
Good. Right.
This is the point where he gets watch out. Do-do-do, do-do-do.
David.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. We love you so much. Come back
So
next
much.
time.
All the things.
We'll be back for 1021 or 1017.
That's it.
Word.
That's all she wrote.
That's it for that one.